Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's your boy C No, and we are back with another Captain exclusive special episode. Today we've got a super special guest, a long-time friend of mine, legendary Joey, also known as Kalam Allah. Joey, welcome bro.
Thanks for having me, boys. Appreciate it. It's good to be here, man.
Hey, it's been a long time, man. It's been a long time. So welcome to the show, Habib.
It's good to be here,
Bro,
man.
I reckon let's get right into it, man.
Yeah, let's do it. So this has been in the works for ages, by the way, huh?
Long time.
Like I think you're like overdue, like crazy, huh?
Facts.
But
we're here.
we're here. But can we ask, like, me and you were interested in to know, like, we want to know why, like, why are you overdue, bro?
Why what, sorry?
Why are you overdue as a guest?
I'm overdue.
Yeah,
Life, man.
yeah. Tell us
Life.
about what's been happening, man.
Where do I start, bro? Where do I start?
Let's start with the name, Kalamullah.
Kalamullah.
Talk to us about Kalamullah, man.
Kalamullah, man. Iconic.
For those who don't know what Kalamullah is, man.
Kalamullah is pretty much my little hobby that I started probably around 2017. Pretty much Qur'an recitations. That's something that I've tapped into. And I've only picked back up probably the last 2 years or so. Alhamdulillah, it's going well.
Alhamdulillah.
It's keeping me in check, which is the most important thing. Yeah, Kalamullah.
Bro, mashallah, man. Because I'm not gonna lie, wallahi, mashallah, the first time I heard Joey's voice, wallahi, I fell in love with
Mashallah,
the
your
voice,
recitation, man.
Appreciate
man.
it, boys.
Beautiful
Yeah, it's
recitation,
up there.
bro.
For me, it's up there with Sudais and that. I'll be real.
Wallah, he's
Yeah,
heavy. He's
yeah.
heavy.
Heavy
I'm not gonna
shout.
lie to you.
That's
Bro,
a big shout.
I think the first time, like, because your videos are well edited as well. You know
Appreciate
what I
it,
mean?
bro. Yeah.
I was looking at it one day, bro. And like, I think it was you, bro, that told me, bro. That's his page.
Yeah, he didn't even know it.
I didn't even know it, bro.
He didn't even know it. And I was like,
Before,
hey, man, you know
this
that?
before I started putting my face in videos.
Yeah,
It would've been-
yeah. Where you just had the name, no one knew who's behind.
I was
you know
trying
what
to
I mean?
keep it low key.
Kalamullah,
Yeah.
hey. We had to tell him, man. We had to show him, I reckon, bro.
Allah,
So,
man.
welcome to Tapped In, bro.
Appreciate it,
Kalamullah,
bro.
I'm not gonna lie, mashallah. Hey, I reckon after you warm up a bit, bro, you might have to do a bit of a recitation.
we'll see
for
how
the
we go,
ones- for the
bro.
ones
We'll
that-
see if we're lucky today,
We'll see.
huh?
We'll see,
if we
boys.
get lucky.
We all
yeah?
need a bit of
If
an
you
imam
jump in
booster.
as well, we'll do it. Inshallah.
Mashallah, man.
One each.
We're going verse for verse today. We're going verse for verse today.
The classics, yeah.
Verse for verse. I like that. Verse for verse. That's a new series. I like that.
Joey, what inspired you to start Kalam Allah? What was your vision with it, and where do you see it going?
What inspired me? To be honest, bro, I don't think it was really inspiration, bro. It was just something that, growing up, you know, family always used to hype me up, G me up. And then one day I just said, you know what, let me just buy a microphone, little setup in my room. And I started recording the videos. When I look back at those videos now, humble beginnings, man.
Wallah.
Editing was trash.
You
Quality was
gotta start
trash.
somewhere, yeah.
But yeah, you got to start somewhere, you know. It was just something that I started just to pass time. And I took a big gap, about 5 years of my life. I just stopped. There was something going on in my life. And then only recently, like I said, I just picked back up, you know, started going again, inshallah. And yeah, it's only probably the past 6 months maybe, that I really wanted to like take it to the moon, you know. I've never been about monetizing that, because I always thought that, you know, monetizing Qur'an and Deen and Islamic stuff like is a bad thing to do, you know. But speaking to people, going to these networking events, shout out Barisa, made me realize that there's actually money, like halal money to be made in these niches, you know. All of us want to be, you know, financially free one day. What better way, man? You know?
100%.
What better way? So hopefully, man, we'll see one day, inshallah. Halal income, you know? Go live in Medina for 6 months. Yeah, that's a dream.
Bro, talk to me about your Quranic journey. When did it begin? And how's it going now?
To be honest, you know, we all share the same experiences, you know? Family
Yeah.
took us Duxi, dropped us
Yeah.
off, see you in 6-8 hours, whatever it is. Honestly, I never really was committed to a specific class or anything. It was just throughout the years, you know, all our siblings would be just dropped off to Duxi or Qur'an class, Qur'an school. And then, you know, that you had the odd few years where we just learned at home or whatever. But, you know, as we grew up, you get busy. You stop memorizing, you stop reading.
100%.
The book is on a shelf, collects dust. That's how it is. That's the reality of the situation, you know.
Yeah.
But honestly, now I'm not even memorizing. I'm just, you know, I try to keep as close to the Qur'an as I can.
That's a life hack, yeah?
Yeah,
It is.
yeah.
big
The
time.
Qur'an is it's a miracle on earth, you know.
100%.
We take it for granted. We put it on our shelves, but that's literally like the one who created the world speaks into that book, you know.
100%.
So I try to make that part of my life. Obviously, I fall short. I'm human, but yeah, whenever I'm down, you know, that's something that you know I fall back on. Yeah,
I know you're super humble, Joey, yeah?
Actually, not even.
But when did you start coming to the realization that, you know, you had a bit of oomph when it comes to Quran recitation? Like what made you kind of realize that, like, hey, I'm not bad at this, and like, let me do it like publicly?
Yeah, honestly,
Yeah.
from a young age, my mom, my dad used to really push me to, you know, read, go on stage, do these things, you know.
Yeah.
I remember in high school, East Preston, the boys, our class of 2014, we used to have like, we used to do Jum'ah. So we'd lead the whole school. So it was one of us each week, you know. And I remember, when it was my turn, I used to jump on, and I didn't have stage fright for some reason at that age.
Yeah. mashallah.
So I enjoyed doing those things, you know. And then after school, I used to volunteer in a place called Mercy Mission, Melbourne, Medina, in the city. That's where really, like, my journey with the Qur'an really took off, you know. That's when I realized the importance of the Qur'an. I used to do a lot of khutbahs there. I used to teach the boys. You know, most of the boys I still know. I keep in touch till today, the boys from the area. Like I always, it's humbling because me, honestly, now, when I think about it now, I'm able to just pick up the mic, you know, close the door in a room, seclude myself and just read. For me, wallah, it's humbling because if I didn't have that ability, well, I don't know where I would be, you know. But alhamdulillah, Allah, you know, He places tests in people's lives according to their capacity.
100%.
Alhamdulillah, my test was not to be deprived of the Qur'an, you know. But yeah, man. Obviously, doing this content, I didn't intend for it to be, like I said in the beginning, I wanted it to be anonymous, no face, no case. Just me reciting, putting the subtitles on the screen. When I die, Sadaqah Jariyah, everyone's happy, you know?
Best investment. Yeah.
Yeah. But gradually, you learn to realize that your face needs to be, like, you need to be a brand for your own brand.
100%.
So putting my face on there was a suggestion from some friends that were doing similar work. And you see the growth. Even when you're swiping on, you know, IG or TikTok, whatever it is. Mind you, I hate TikTok. That's just a fun fact. You know, when you see someone reciting or when you see someone giving a lecture, you're more drawn to see that person talk compared to if you just see a lyric video or like just captions with a nice background and whatnot. You're not really focused on the actual message, you know. But when you see someone there with emotion, they're showing their face behind the video, you're much more drawn to that. And I realized that for myself. So I said, you know what, one day, my first video that I put up with my face in it was a car therapy series that I have. It was in the car. So I was driving, it was after work, it was night time. And, you know, sometimes, you know, you're in the car, you listen to something, you play something, sometimes you just roll the window down, you're just quiet, you know. So this time I said, you know what, I'm reading Qur'an right now, might as well just turn the camera on. But for me, it was very uncomfortable. I was very uncomfortable doing that. Knowing that people were going to see my face and see, you know. For me, it didn't sit right. But I said, you know what, for the sake of Allah, let me do that. Alhamdulillah, I haven't looked back. I'm on episode 23 for car therapy now.
MashaAllah.
Alhamdulillah, I've noticed that those videos with my face in it is the ones that do the best numbers, you know. People like actually DM me, reach out and be like, you know, this I didn't really think of it this way. But with your subtitles, and it's something that we need to, like, you know, it's very important to know the tafsir of the Quran, the understanding of the Quran, because you can just read and recite. But, you know, actually it's a different ball game when you actually hear the translation, hearing it as well, you know. So yeah, alhamdulillah, it's had an effect on people, it's had an effect on myself as well, first and foremost. Alhamdulillah, I just hope
And
it can continue.
Inshallah, bro. 100%. The car therapy session, I'm not gonna lie, personally, are one of my favorite, what's it called? Segments that you got going on, the series. Question on that: how do you select the verses? So do you just do you pick at random, or are you more like are you focused on specific verses? So like, what's the background behind selection of the Quranic verses that you're reading?
It just depends on how I feel, bro, to be honest. Because I have those days where if I'm going through it,
Yeah,
then a certain verse comes to my mind, you know?
yeah.
So that verse keeps playing in my head, or I keep reading it.
Mm.
So in that case, I'll be like, let me record this. Or in a situation where you know what's happening in Palestine, that's the only way I can really, raise awareness in that regard. So reciting verses of prophecies and things that are happening right now, that's a way to at least make people aware of the situation, by any means. That's my thing, But I think it just depends, bro. It depends on the day, the mood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are we expecting in the next few months from Kalam Allah?
Inshallah, big things, bro. I'm working on a series right now. I'm sure everyone knows the Sunnah guy.
Yeah.
The Sunnah guy from UK, the GOAT.
Yeah.
This guy changed it for me. He changed the whole idea of content creation for me.
Yeah.
So simple. Just sitting on a park bench. Just some words of wisdom, whatever's on his mind, whatever it is,
I think with the Sunnah guy, he's also, he does the editing, he does the filming, he does everything.
I'm not sure, bro.
He does. I remember
sure.
watching like a kind of like one of his videos. He was explaining that he does everything. I think he's got his
shout out to him, bro.
his background is in like his media, so he does all that stuff.
Okay,
himself.
so that he knows what he's doing.
He knows exactly what
sense.
he's doing. The
It makes
backdrop, the
sense.
lighting, everything.
Bro, I think he had a content creation workshop.
Agency, workshop.
Yeah, so he came here. When he came down, he did a beautiful series, man. Shout out to him. The Undertaker.
The Muslim, the olive tree events.
Yeah, the olive tree events. Well,
couldn't
shout
make
out
it,
to
I
them,
was
bro.
working.
It was one of the best experiences. So, I can't remember exactly the title of what it was. Did you go? Did you go to that?
I was working that day, bro.
You were, yeah.
I couldn't get off.
Bro, so it was like just picturing the afterlife. I think it was mainly focused on the afterlife, bro. Shout out to the Undertaker as well, the work that he does in his content creation. That constant reminder that death is happening
Just blew
every
up.
single day.
Man.
He's
Genuine.
Just, very genuine guy as well. And his content, it's very humbling, very beautiful, and it's a good reminder, I feel like as Muslims, as everyone, you should just sort of focus on, like, remember death often, you know what I mean? That sort of keeps you grounded, that sort of keeps you focused on what the ultimate end goal is, But yeah, he did a beautiful. I didn't even end up going to the workshop after, but it was an amazing experience.
I heard they brought a coffin out.
They brought a
People
coffin, the
having
whole
turns
thing.
going inside.
Yeah, pictured the
Crazy.
whole thing, bro. Do you
Crazy.
remember? I don't know if you guys ever seen it. Like back in the days, like when I was young, bro, there used to be this video about I think it was called Hassan or something, but it was about Malakul Maut and like him sitting down, listening to music, and Malakul Maut coming. It was like one where you could not sleep as a kid, bro. You were not knocking out after that, after watching that one. So it was one of those similar kind of experiences where they sort of talked a little bit about the barzakh, the life after death, and all that, man. Very, very beautiful experience, man. I think they're gonna come back and do it again. They were saying it was a massive success.
I hope so. Yeah.
But back to content creation journey, man. So when obviously you told us a little bit about just the journey, how it started, the editing, the humbling experience. Talk to us about the growth and what you've seen and noticed right now in content creation.
In terms of myself or just
yourself,
generally? Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm still like just humble beginnings, bro. I still, I'm just at the moment. I'm just trying to get a routine going because it's very hard getting a routine doing this, because I do all the editing myself, all the graphic design myself, the planning, everything. Like, there's nothing outsourced, So, and obviously balancing that with work and family and whatnot, it's difficult, but I'm just trying to take one day at a time, I'm not trying to overwhelm myself. But I do have plans, inshallah, that I'm getting help from others with, but I don't want to say too much until it's done, or at least until things are recorded and edited and ready to go, but you'll be hearing that very soon, inshallah.
As it should be, man. Because sometimes when you share something that you got going on, you release that sort of dopamine. You know what I mean? And which actually prevents you from doing the actual task itself.
100%,
You know,
100%.
gatekeeping a little bit of information is always great. Wallah,
Have to,
you know
bro.
what I mean?
Have to,
I'm all
man.
for it, man. All
Have
for
to.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So, you know, how about you, man? What's your Quran journey looking like now?
My Quran journey needs a lot of work, you know. Hopefully, if Joey's doing private classes, you know,
Yeah.
I'll be the first one to sign up. Are you doing anything like that at the moment?
I'm not, bro.
Yeah.
I can't, like I said,
Are
bro.
we expecting to see anything like
It's
that?
consistency, bro. Like I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's me. I don't feel like, especially if I'm charging people, like you're dealing with the Quran. Like that's Allah's words, you know.
100%.
Like I said, I still feel uncomfortable. Like I could never see myself charging for one-on-one classes because for me that's just like, you know,
Yeah.
it's not ours to make money off, you know.
Yeah.
Obviously it's your time and your effort and whatnot, which is understandable, but yeah, I don't know.
That's a lot about Kalam Allah, yeah. But I just wanted to touch base on me and Joey actually grew up since we were kids, yeah. Back in the good old days, we go way back. How many years, Joey?
AV days, man.
So how many years
AV
would you say you
days.
reckon?
How old was that? I was probably 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah, literally, yeah.
3, 4, 5
Yeah,
years
we
old.
used to go kinder together, yeah.
Yeah, we used to go kinder.
Yeah, so like mashallah, man, seeing you, like, you know, us as like little youngins running around.
Hey, was Joey always this humble, bro? I reckon the people need to know.
Joey's always like mashallah, man. He's always been top
Yeah.
black, you know.
Uh,
Always, man.
Mm.
But yeah, man, we used to run around, man. We were kids with scooters, you know.
Yeah.
Run
Back
up
in
and
the
down the
days,
block. Yeah, man.
shenanigans. Yeah.
hop fences.
Yeah, jump fences with a PlayStation 5 in the bag. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. Bro, I want to circle back just quickly to you know what you mentioned about Quran and like not teaching it because you know you don't feel like you want to charge or something and it's the word of Allah, you know. Just on that, how do you sort of build your tajweed and in terms of making sure that you know you release content that you are not sort of making mistakes, you know, because sometimes people might listen to your content and go, all right, I need to learn from this reciter now,
Yeah, facts.
you know.
Facts.
What sort of, you know, so what practices do you have in place to sort of make sure and you know that you try your best with the tajweed and making sure everything is read correctly?
Honestly, bro, I'll be completely transparent. I'm not learning tajweed now. I'm not going classes. I have been to classes in the past, but I think now I'm very careful. In the beginning, I just used to upload just vibes, you know, like just upload whatever I see, whatever I record. But I learned that there was a lot of clips that had a lot of tajweed issues, and that's a big issue when you're reciting the Quran, you know.
Yeah,
Changes the whole meaning completely.
It does, yeah.
I even had like some people, qualified people, reach out and be like, "Akhi, like this video is a bit, how you going, you know? Just fix it up or take it down." And that was a wake up call for me because that makes you realize that there's people actually watching you, bro. There's people
100%.
actually taking notes.
Yeah.
You know, you have a lot of people these days with social media, like, you know, who are the big content, like people on social media that are reciting Quran, like Yasser Dosari, you know, Sudais,
Yeah.
you know, these shuyukh from Qatar and this and that, and these qaris, you know, they have their own styles, but you have people out here imitating those styles. And that's dangerous because not everyone can imitate a certain style,
Exactly.
you know, and that's what I was sort of doing in the beginning. But you have to just take a step back, bro, and just actually, just like when you write an essay, you proofread, and you make
100%.
content, you have to
Yeah.
watch it back, you know. And for me, it's like there's a lot of work that goes into one video. The shortest series I have in terms of length is probably, I'd say, car therapy. That's about 30 seconds to a minute. And to actually edit that and get it out, check, you know, subtitles and whatnot, takes like a few hours, you know.
Yeah.
So it's hard to slip up in that sense where you make a mistake, but you still have to, you know, check your recitation's good. You know, the way you're pronouncing certain letters and stuff is good. And that's, like I said, people checking me on that was good, you know. A few brothers as well, like, they're like, yeah, this word and that, you made this too long, you know, this letter too long. Like, damn, you actually did, you know. So you just take it with a grain of salt. But you have to always make sure that you're always achieving to be better than the last video. That's just the way I try to do it, you know.
100%.
If you check my content from when I started, say 2022, I think it was, or 2023, compared to now, alhamdulillah, not to brag, but like there's a big change, you know.
Yeah.
And that's from me going to other videos and other channels and seeing what their content looks like, seeing how their template and what how they structure and lay out their content, you know. Not putting too much on the screen is big. Making it short form is a huge factor as well, you know. So these are all things you just pick up on the way. But for me, not being complacent is a big one. Making sure that before I actually press upload, everything is good. And I have to realize, obviously, renewing my intention is a big thing as well. Because intention in this game,
100%.
it's not easy, bro. So yeah, just before you upload, every time before you press that button, just say, Ya Rab, this is for your sake.
Yeah.
May Allah accept it from me.
Beautiful.
May Allah allow it to benefit people, whatnot, and you upload and just leave it. Close your phone and leave it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just how I structure that and make sure that my tajweed is, and the quality of the content at least is up to standard.
Yeah.
There's a lot of files in the vault, a lot of files that I haven't uploaded that I don't think is, if it sounds a bit, yeah, how you going? I'll just leave it.
Yeah.
Because when I actually sit down and record, I don't just do one clip and then call it a day. I do a few clips at least and then save it, and then the next time I usually have like 1 day to record, 1 day to edit. So I'll record maybe 3-4 clips.
Yeah.
And then the next day I come sit down, I will edit 1 or 2 of those clips, and then I'll schedule it on Instagram, TikTok, and whatnot.
Yeah.
But that's a good way to keep yourself consistent with your quality, to do everything at once, but don't overwhelm yourself. Split it into days or whatnot.
Facts.
And if you're doing too much, if your workload is too much, just take a step back, Yeah.
What advice would you give, some of the youngsters that are probably looking to get into something like this? Like, how would you advise them to start?
I'll be honest, like this, what, Qur'an, you're talking about Qur'an recitations and stuff? Content creation,
or like what you were saying before, like, like before you were saying that there's like so many, like halal hustles pretty much,
Yeah. Bro, like just do it, bro. Find your niche, renew your intention. Like you need to have a vision, you need to have a clear plan and what you aim to achieve. Don't just start something with no plan, with no end goal, You want a plan. Okay, I want to have a halal business, for example, which is oversaturated, but there's ways, and come out with an actual plan, a strategy. You're not going to always hit that strategy, but as long as you have a strategy, at least you can keep yourself in check every time you start swaying, and do something you're actually interested in. Like for me, yeah, I could be sitting on a park bench like Sunnah guy and, spitting game, but that's not something that I'm knowledgeable. I don't have knowledge of Islam like that, I don't have like, I'm not that well spoken as well. So like this guy is, when you listen to his videos, when you watch his videos, he draws you in. I'm not really a behind the camera guy, which is ironic. But just do something that you're actually interested in. You don't have to be good at it. As long as you're interested, time will make you better, You improve over time naturally. But just find a niche and just do it. Renew your intention. Just do it for the sake of Allah, and wallahi barakah will come from it, bro. Allah doesn't like you don't start something without, like Allah tells us, you do something for the sake of Allah, and Allah will help you through that. If you
100%.
leave something for the sake of Allah, Allah will replace that thing with something better for you. So who's to say that thing that you started with the right intentions is not gonna, improve your life?
Yeah. 100%.
Just do it, bro. Take the leap. Have a plan in place. If you need support systems, make that happen. Everyone has support systems, whether it be family, whether it be mates that are doing it. Reach out to content creators. Go to these networking events. Just do
100%.
something.
Right, that's solid sound advice, man. Like at the end of the day, that's something that anybody can apply to anything that they're doing. You know what I mean? Whether it's content creation, whether it's just business, whether it's even just normal 9 to 5. Just applying that consistency and
100%,
and having a plan for like what you want to do with your money, how you want to spend it, everything.
100%,
There's a plan for it. How about, let's talk about imitations, man. Do you imitate? Because you said earlier that you have certain reciters that you imitate, that you used to imitate, and sometimes it can get a bit techie. Who's your favorite reciter, first of all, and second of all, do you feel like you have your own sort of recitation style, or are you mimicking someone?
So I think, because I do have a series that actually imitates people, I haven't done that series in a while. But for me, honestly, my favorite reciters has to be the GOAT. Yes, the Dosari first.
Actually, hey, you know what? Sorry. Before you go, I'm gonna cut you short. We'll do a bit of a blind ranking game. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm gonna list 5 sheikhs. And then you're gonna rate them. So blind ranking.
Okay.
And then you put them from 5. 5 being not your favorite, sheikh to listen to in terms of recitation, and 1 being that's just the GOAT for you.
Okay.
So you said said it. I'm gonna have to chuck him in there because I already heard who your GOAT is.
Yeah.
But Who knows?
There's a few underground.
I
There's
might
a few
put him in
underground
there.
qadis as well, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Nah, like at the end of the day, I'll try and if you don't know it, you just say you don't know it.
sweet.
We'll go on to the next year.
Alright, sweet.
All right, number 1, we got Mishari Rashid Al Afasi.
I'll put him number 3.
Number 3,
Yeah.
solid. Abdul Basit,
Number 2, bro.
number 2.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Different.
Abdul Basit is
Different.
amazing.
That's my Egyptian brother. Yeah.
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 All right. I'm gonna go one that like I haven't really seen too much of his Qur'an recitation, but there's like, bro, he has an amazing voice.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know him, Yussuf Al Idrus.
Yussuf Idrus, yeah.
No?
Trying to think of his voice.
Yeah.
I don't listen to him that much. Though.
Surah Al Isra. Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't
Anybody
listen to
that
him
hasn't
much.
listened to Surah Al Isra,
Yussuf Idrus? Yeah.
have to. All right. If you don't know him like that, then we'll take him out.
Okay.
All right. We're gonna go. So far, your ranking is you got
Mashari is number 3,
number 3
and number 2 is Bassett.
and
Abdul
Bas
Bassett,
number
yeah.
2. All right. Minshawi, Muhammad Minshawi.
It's good. Can I put him 2 as well? 'Cause it's the same. It's similar, bro.
No, you can't.
Damn. I'll put him number 4.
Number 4 there.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go Sudais.
I'll put him 5.
Put him 5,
Yeah.
and then you got Yasser,
That's the number 1.
which you put 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got a very similar style to Yasser. Yeah.
Yeah. So because I think it's just easy to imitate with my voice. Because when I read, it's a bit deeper.
Mm.
My voice is a bit deeper.
Yeah.
But he has a lot of like ups and downs, you know. Very fast paced as well. I like
Yeah.
to read him fast paced as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a few underground qadis right now.
Yeah.
Like these guys are gonna blow up soon, you know.
What's your favorite surah?
Surah Yusuf.
Oh,
Yeah.
you Surah to
Yusuf,
Yusuf,
yeah.
man. Wow.
Yeah. If you actually understand the story of Surah Yusuf,
Sorry, yeah.
it's nuts, bro.
It is.
It's nuts. Like I'm not even gonna break it down now,
Yeah.
but
What's what would you
any
say?
situation in life.
Yeah, what would you
any
say
s-
is the biggest lesson that you
Covers
derive
it.
from it?
Where do I start, bro? Finances, temptation,
Yeah.
power,
Yeah.
sibling, like family dramas, politics.
Yeah.
If you're locked up,
Yeah.
you know, tough times,
Yeah.
wisdom. Brother, everything is there, bro.
For those people that don't know or have never ever listened to Surah to Yusuf or don't know the meaning behind Surah to Yusuf, can you give us a little bit of an insight? Obviously, break it down. It's a very lengthy, beautiful story.
Yeah.
But if you can
Like
just summarize it for us.
yeah, in your own
Yeah.
way.
All right, sweet. So Surah Yusuf basically, obviously Prophet Joseph, peace be upon him. The Qur'an details like his life. It's the only surah in the Qur'an where it details a whole prophet's life or someone's life in detail, you know. Pretty much starts off, you know, Yusuf as a child, sibling rivalry. He has a dream, and then his father gives him advice. And end of the day, the siblings plan to plot and kill him. He ends up in a well, you know, so that was the first hurdle, you know, ending up in a well, almost killing him. And then he gets picked up, gets sold as a slave, ends up in the minister's house as a slave, grows up in that house, learns, and Allah mentions specific details like as the story goes on, saying, you know, after every incident, Allah will say, and this is why we did this, and this is why we did this, and this is why we did this, you know, so we can do this, and we can teach, and we can, so it's like checkpoints in his life, you know. And he ends up in a house, and obviously we know the story of what happened with the wife of the minister, gets locked up in a room, temptation, you know.
One thing that you haven't mentioned so far, which is probably the biggest one, his beauty.
His beauty, I was going to mention that.
Yeah,
I was going to
okay.
mention that.
Yeah.
But yeah, he gets locked up in a house, and the you know, tafsir of the surah is that the minister's wife was extremely beautiful as well. And like Abdullah said, Prophet Yusuf had 50% of the world's beauty. So God actually created everything in this world, and he gave 50% of beauty to everything in creation, and then the other 50% is for Yusuf, Prophet Yusuf. Like to put that into perspective, you know? Like Sino's a handsome guy, you know? Allahumma barik. So
After you, bro.
so like to give 50% to an individual,
Yeah.
you can't imagine, you know? So obviously he's in a situation, and he ends up choosing, he makes a specific dua to Allah, you know, to put him into prison. Like he didn't ask for Allah to take him out of the position. He said, put me into prison because I don't want to do what these people are wanting me to do, you know. And then he ends up in a prison, and the people come and interpret. He interprets dreams for them as well. The king sends through his people, and he questions who's there, and you know they say, yeah, it was the guy who just interpreted our dream. The king says, all right, this is my dream. So it's levels, it was steps throughout his life, and you know I think some narrations say that he was in prison for like 20 years plus. He was locked up for like 20 years plus, you know, for something he didn't do, and he chose to be there. He did not make dua a single time for Allah to release him from that prison. You know, he thugged it out. He stayed in that prison locked up, knowing that there was danger outside, you know. Like there's lessons in this, like it doesn't make sense to us.
Yeah,
but when you're in those positions and the specific themes of his life, when you apply that to your life on a smaller scale, it makes sense. Like you know what to do, you know how to go about things, you know what dua to make. Because there's a lot of du'as, specific du'as that he mentioned, Prophet Yusuf, that we can use in our struggles as well, you know.
Facts.
So end of the day, he ends up, and on top of that as well, it's another surah, like it's a surah lesson for us in terms of career, you know, because Prophet Yusuf was locked up in a prison, but he still asked the king to give him a job as a minister, as a treasurer of Egypt, you know. So he's locked up, he has no resume, but his resume was technically that time he grew up in that minister's house, because when he was younger, he would have obviously grown up and been part of the meetings, the deals, you know, been part of those discussions with the minister. So for him, that was his resume. Yeah, I was raised in this house. Tells that to the king. The king says, no worries, bring him to me and we'll speak about it. So it teaches us as well, don't like shoot yourself down so low that you're not ambitious enough to do things. Like Prophet Yusuf was locked up, but he's still asking to be a treasurer of a whole country, you know? Like do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like he was shooting for the stars, he was aiming high. And he didn't let his situation pull him down and demotivate him, you know. Ends up being the treasurer of Egypt, makes some good calls because he has the wisdom that Allah gave him. And then he comes back, his family come back to him as, you know, as a masakin, as a miskins, you know. They come to him saying, like king, we need food, you know, my family's doing it hard, this and that. And he judged straight away who they were. So subhanAllah, it all comes like full circle, you know. Allah says if you thug it out, if you ride it out, if you be patient, in Allah la yudi'u ajra al-mu'minin, you know. Allah doesn't let the efforts of those who are patient go to waste, you know. But yeah, for me, Surah Yusuf, because everything's in there, bro. Just read that story. Every time you read it as well, if you're going through something, I noticed, whenever you read the translation of that surah, like you pick something new up every time. You know when you watch a movie for the first time and you watch it for the second time?
You notice.
You notice something you didn't notice the first time, you know? That's the same with this surah and the Qur'an in general, but this surah in specifically, you notice things that you didn't notice the first 20 times even, you know? Just according to your situation.
100%.
Yeah.
Right, and it teaches us a lot about optimism as well. Just
Crazy,
staying, you know, optimistic about things, you know? Just believing in the plan of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is amazing. Right, my favorite reciter, you know, do you have like different reciters for different surahs? You go, this surah is definitely my reciter. For Surah Yusuf, man, it's Ahmed al-Ajami.
Ahmed Ajami,
yeah. Have you heard Ahmed al-Ajami recite Surah Yusuf?
Not Surah Yusuf, but I've heard him recite.
Yeah. Surah Yusuf, I don't think he does another surah that good. Like there's Surah Yusuf and I think Imran is the other one.
Okay.
Amazing.
I have to have a sauce.
Yeah, if you haven't sussed it, well, you definitely have to suss it, man. 100%.
Yusuf,
Ayub, I wanted to ask you, you had also like a big Duxi journey overseas, didn't you?
100%,
Do
bro.
you want to like tell us a bit about that?
Bro, my journey, bro, I don't know, it was a bit different, and I'll follow it up with the question at the end. But for me, wallahi, it was, grew up here, 9, 10, 11, you know, I learned the first 3 juz, memorization, you know. So I went to Africa, Kenya, and I studied, so I went there for Duxi, school, the whole thing, picked up life again over there. The difference there was over here when I was in Juz 3, I was like in the Duxi in the class, I was like I was pretty up there with the people that are memorizing as well. And then going to that country over there, when I went to school, it was me and a few other students that were from overseas that have not memorized the Qur'an. Everyone else just memorized like they're very young ages, and it's like if you turn 9 or 10 and you haven't memorized yet, you get looked at a bit funny. You know what I mean?
Something's wrong, huh?
Yeah, well, so it's like, so me, when I was in that position and I'm looking around and everybody that's like my peers, my environment is just all like full of people that have memorized the Qur'an, you know? I felt like, all right, I'm super behind, you know? So, bro, I pushed through. So that was one of my biggest inspirations. It was like, bro, like people my age have all memorized. Like, who am I not to? You know what I mean? And, bro, I don't know how to explain it to you, man, but when it comes to memorization of the Qur'an, once you pick up the basics. So when I went there, my teacher was there, man. Shout out to my teacher. Bro, he just told me, I told him, yeah, I memorized, you know, from just 3, I'm ready to go. He's like, all right, read Fatiha. I read Fatiha. And he's like, mate, you're starting from like the letters, like the alif, ba. Because he's like, your tajweed is off, everything's off. So I had to start from scratch. And when I tell you I have to start from scratch, I had to start from alif, ba, you know what I mean? Iqra books and learning how to read and write in Arabic, you know? So, bro, the journey was it took me, 3 years? So the first 2 years was probably the hardest in terms of learning, you know? So slowly built up memorization skills. It was very regular as well. And then what I would say probably when I was 2 years in, I was like halfway in the Qur'an. And then from there, you notice that the Qur'an just, like, it becomes much easier to recite. I'm learning in a day, I'm doing 2-3 pages just because it's all repetitive. So you built that basic, that legwork, you know? So the biggest thing for me is you got to build your fundamentals. Once you got that fundamental basic principles of the Qur'an, you know, the tajweed, how to recite everything, how to read, how to join words together, all that. And then from there, I think memorization just becomes easier. So that was my journey there, man. And alhamdulillah, you know, shout out to my parents for sending me at that age. You know, it's that age where you're just a sponge and you're soaking in information. So they definitely helped over there. But, bro, so the question I wanted to come back to over here was, do you feel like it's really difficult living in Melbourne and memorizing the Qur'an? You know, living in a Western country and memorizing the Qur'an. What's your thoughts on that?
I want to hear Sino's thoughts first.
I think that if you're going overseas to solely learn the Qur'an and completely remove yourself from an environment, and in an environment where that's pretty much what you're doing full time, then definitely that'd be better. When you've got, like, especially like Melbourne, you know, really fast-paced city, you wouldn't be putting as much time into it as you would overseas. You know what I mean? You'd probably be doing like what, you know, if there's Saturday school here, or sometimes you've got Saturday and Sunday school here, you know. But there's a lot of brothers that actually go out to like places like South Africa or Egypt, and they study it full time. And then they come back in a year. They've learned in a year what you would learn with that schedule, like in 5 years. You know what I mean? So definitely, I'd say it would be better to do it abroad, or just completely change environment. You know?
Why do you do it?
Me, inshallah, coming soon, man. Make the offer me, man.
Never too late, man. Bro, the thing with that, just on that as well, like, you're definitely right, but the routine's different. So when I was there, man, I was still doing the same thing that I would have done here in school. So I'm still going to school. I'm still going to, you know, like learning the Qur'an classes as well. So I've got my Qur'an classes. I've got my tutor that's getting me balanced with, you know, the system over there as well. So it's just that routine and allocating every time, like every hour has an allocation. You know what I mean? And it's more of like, bro, at a very young age, I was doing like a block system where it was very systematic, you know? So if I had a 2 hour, like, you know, gap, I'm running, playing soccer, doing some leisure, you know what I mean? Whatever it is, just to fill my time. Because you just notice that, bro, if you don't fill your time, the time just disappears as well, you know? We've got 24 hours in the day, and I feel like it's that thing where if you're not, you know, if you're not keeping yourself busy, and if you're not blocking, you know, days out to, like, you know, intentionally learn or intentionally develop, and whatever it is in life, you know, that time is just going to go past, and it doesn't have that barakah, you know. So have you noticed sometimes, bro, you just blink, you go from Monday, you're Sunday, same thing. Monday, and
what do you mean, bro? You just started, bro. Already,
bro, we're already made,
hitting
June,
June, bro.
Time's flying, you know. But if you allocate time to, I think, every hour, or like, you know, every, you know, just if you have that block system where, you know, you're intentionally putting aside time, bro, I feel like you can do anything, especially whether it's over here, whether it's there, you know. It's just a matter of just finding that resource. Yeah. How about you? What's your thoughts?
Honestly, bro, it just depends on a person, to be honest. Some people are able to, like, they work well under chaos, like under like a lot of distractions and stuff, you know. Me personally, I can't. I mean, I get very easily distracted. But at the same time, like, you know, we know the Qur'an, it doesn't stay with someone who commits a lot of sins, you know. So hypothetically, where are you more likely to be committing more sins? You know, like here in a country like Australia, which is a beautiful country, by the way, or like back home, you know, in a village somewhere, where they don't have technology and there's no internet, or it's up and down, you know. So you just got to take it how you like what your thresholds are, you know.
Bro, you're 100% right with that, man. Like, my teacher, I remember, bro, like, he said something to me that will always stick with me, and he said, the Qur'an is like a bird, you know, a bird that you have in your hand. So if you're holding the bird by its legs, you know, just on its, like, you know, in your hand, it won't go anywhere. It's right there. But the moment you let go, that bird is not going to stay there.
Gone.
You know? It's gone. It's flying, you know? And then he also said, bro, because that was when I was disappearing, coming back to Australia, it's like, the distractions over here is just like an ocean. You know what I mean? It's like throwing yourself in an ocean and expecting not to get wet. You know what I mean? So that concept of there's always going to be distractions, whatever it is in life, but you just have to sort of have that solid basis, that solid foundation. And bro, like my Qur'an, you know, journey, alhamdulillah, was great in the beginning, and I definitely should pick it up. But you're right, the distractions, you know, you just realize that, subhanAllah, you blink and you're like, I haven't really touched the Qur'an in a long time, you know. So what you've got going on, bro, is amazing. It keeps you, you know, motivated. It keeps you holding the Qur'an as well. You know, it gives you, you're intentionally now reading, you know what I mean? Which every single letter you're getting rewarded for too.
Inshallah,
so it's amazing work that you're doing, man.
Appreciate all
for sure. But yeah, man. What a solid episode.
So, thank you so much for coming, Joey.
That's it. We're done.
Joey, bro. Time flies when you're having fun, man.
Comes it.
I think we're going for a solid 35, 40 minutes now.
40 minutes.
Yeah. Hey, man, listen, we can stay. We can squeeze in another 30 minutes, man.
Jeez, man. I thought I was just getting started, bro. Like, you know, I haven't even touched the water yet, bro.
Tell us about life growing up in Newmarket.
Oof. Getting deep, huh? Back to the roots. Newmarket, huh? Nah, it was interesting, man. Humble beginnings. I was born in Escoville, a humble little suburb called Escoville. AV. I was about 2 years old when I moved out to Newmarket, which is like 5 minutes away. It's not far. That's where the memories were made.
It's pretty much connected, yeah?
Crown Street, yeah, it's connected. It's just one street separating the two suburbs, you know? Yeah, man. Memories. Yeah. A lot of character development in that place. Yeah.
But I reckon the government messed up by by situating us right next to the city, bro. Like, you know, people aren't moving. You know, the intention for housing is to come in quickly. You know, do the thing.
I think why it's set up like that, and I may be wrong, is because it gives you accessibility to like all these
resources and stuff.
Yeah, especially when you're starting from the bottom, you know. Like if you're coming from overseas and you're coming here to settle,
it's a mission.
You have all the facilities that you need to get off the ground, you know.
Then you get comfortable.
I'm not leaving that place, bro. As long as I can, I'll stay in that place. I'll move that west. I'll move.
Bro, it's a hack, man. It's a hack. It's a beautiful location, and that's what they're doing now, bro. They're changing it. What 6% housing is it? 10% housing is what they're doing. They're like, hey, man, it's time. People are stuck here, man. I remember there was this guy. I think it was like, right, there's lawyers, doctors in this area, you know, like basically like still under housing, you know. So, it's funny.
I reckon the people living in the the buildings, the housing. Generally, the gross network, the net worth, is more than the people living in private housing around.
It's more than the building itself, yeah?
Yeah. I reckon if you check each level, the net worth of each level on the 126.
I reckon don't say too much, man. Don't say too much, just in case they still don't know.
The place is dangerous, bro. That's all I'm going to say. Love to see it, bro.
Nah, bro, that's what's up, bro. Growing up, bro, the thing I love about, I feel like us growing up, it's a bit different to how you know, the youngsters are growing up now.
100%,
you know? Like us growing up, it's like there was no phones, and you know, like literally, like the only thing sometimes you got is that MSN that you logging onto a computer. You know what I mean? But bro, it's like going through, bro, all the boys in the area, just
always
going for bike rides,
the
whole shebang. Yeah. Like you don't really have that no more, man. I don't really see kids, you know, just enjoying nature, man.
Yeah, it's all about the games, bro.
It's crazy. It's crazy. How about social media, bro? Social media, first of all, has done wonders. You know what I mean?
Blessing and a curse.
Blessing and a curse.
Yeah. It depends on how you utilize your time with it.
Yeah. 100%. I was gonna ask, what's your thoughts on Islamic content on social media.
I love to see it, bro.
Yeah,
I love to see it. That's the best way, like for Sadaqah Jariyah. Think about it.
to learn.
Like back in the day, they used to write books and then leave it, pass it on to generations, you know?
Yeah,
But there was a lot of work that had to go into that. You had to set up classes, your reputation had to be A1, you had to have students, you had to get verified, blue tick back in the days, you know? But akhi, these days, man, you just make a video, relay a little hadith or something, you know, just regurgitate what you heard. Brother, that's your Sadaqah Jariyah, you know? That's going to benefit you in the grave. What a way to do it. But obviously there's dangers, you know? If you're talking on something you don't have the knowledge of, and especially if you could be a hypocrite in that regard, you know? You have to always check yourself.
And just on that, how about thoughts on people seeking knowledge on social media? Because obviously, bro, like with the religion, there's a lot of things that, you know, that might not be factual or that might be wrong. You know what I mean?
I reckon it's dangerous, bro. Like obviously, if you have enough knowledge to know what's right and wrong, like if you're on that level where you're able to differentiate, like if you see Modine on a video and he's talking was, and you're also someone who can't differentiate, like can't, you know, identify that this guy's on something, then there's don't get off social media, I reckon. But if you're someone who's like on a healthy level, you pick up 1-2 things, but like a lot of scholars say, go back to the books. That's the purest way of finding knowledge.
I think also with social media, if you check everybody's average screen time daily, it's ridiculous.
Crazy, yeah. Scary.
It's like, you know, they say, I've seen some like 6 to 9 hours a day. Screen time. How?
How?
I mean, that's calm.
I reckon, bro, right now, if you look at like general, if I don't know, Apple should
How
do
is that
like
calm?
an
There's
average.
12 hours
6
of
is a lot.
daylight.
No,
There's
but
12
6 is
hours
a
of
lot,
daylight
but
a
I'm saying
day.
like 6 is normal numbers now. It's not something that will actually shock people anymore. You know what I mean? It's actually normal numbers if you look at it. You know, which is quite crazy. But it's the world we live in, man.
It's a whole what is it called when you get that rush? Would you know dopamine?
Dopamine rush, yeah.
Like the way they created the TikTok, these apps where the videos are short form, like short attention.
Attention span. It kills
attention span is cooked. Like this next generation coming up, rip. It's done, bro.
Yeah.
You can't even have conversations.
Do you think there's any benefits in shortened attention spans?
Short attention spans.
Because what I've realized about the younger generation, is they're a lot smarter. Do you get what I mean?
Are they smarter or do they have more knowledge?
Yeah, good point. I've seen.
There's a lot of knowledge, bro, but not everyone has, you know.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe it's
because
just
everyone knows
access
everything.
to a lot
Everyone
of
has a lot
information.
to say, but what are you saying, bro? You know. It's like that, bro.
Yeah. I think how fast everything's moving definitely has an effect on the younger people. You know what I mean?
100%. Even on us, bro.
Everyone.
Even on us. Because for us, it's a shock, you know. Like you see adults these days, like scrolling on TikTok, like and all you hear is like, you know, the video getting cut off and then next video getting cut off, next video. Like it's just, bro, it cooks your brain cells. For me, like I never had TikTok in my life. I only made TikTok when I made my Qur'an page, you know, because I was against it. I only had IG and YouTube for a bit, and then someone told me, bro, you need to jump on TikTok.
Yeah, you got to keep up.
You have to
with
jump
that.
on TikTok, you know.
Yeah,
I said,
you're right.
nah, because I know what's gonna come with it.
Yeah,
you know. And even like now, when I open TikTok on my Qur'an page, like the first video that comes on is something completely irrelevant. You know, it's ads or it's some air rating about something, bro. I don't care.
What's the craziest thing, bro? It's like, I don't know, I feel guilty sometimes. Do you ever have that moment, bro? Like you're just scrolling through, you see some, you know, some funny content or like some music or whatever it is, and then right after that it's Qur'an. And sometimes you just see yourself skipping because you're in that emotion. And you're like,
because it's affected your heart.
And then you go back again, you know, you're like, nah, I gotta listen
it's
to
a reality
this.
check, but your heart doesn't, your heart wants to keep laughing.
You know what it is as well? It's like back in the day, you'd have to work or you'd have to put in effort to get access to a movie. Or to get access to something that you really enjoyed to watch.
Yeah.
You know?
Bluray, you have to download that.
Have
Sometimes
to,
50-50 chance it's going to work.
Even back more where you have to go to Video Easy. Blockbuster.
Video Easy, Blockbuster.
Yeah, you know, back in the days, you know? You have to, you know, go and like, you know, rent it weekly, come back, return it. Even games
it's
too,
late.
you know? Right, now, everything we have access to on our fingertips.
Instant,
And that's the thing, It's like your desires go wild, bro. Because you've got access to everything, like, boom. Whenever you want it, you know. Exactly. If you want to watch a soccer game, it's at your fingertips. It's not like how it used to be. If you want to watch any type of movie, even if it's in cinema, you can find that. With the young people and you know,
but even basic things like calling someone back in the days,
we
had a landline.
Yeah.
For the youngers that don't know what I'm talking about, it was attached to the phone, to the house. It was hung on the thing. So if you wanted to call someone after school, you have to put their number in and stay in front of the whole family and chat to someone.
Yeah.
And even then,
Even dial-up. We had dial-up as well.
internet dial-up,
Oh.
yeah. Sound like an alien was, it was hectic, bro.
That's actually
And that was 50-50 chance it's going to work.
That's the golden days.
Download
That's the golden
something, the whole family will cop it now. No one can
Yeah,
watch
yeah.
anything. Yeah, yeah.
You know,
If
sure.
you're downloading something on Wiki, what's it called? What was the app?
LimeWire.
LimeWire.
Yeah.
I had to download the new
Yeah.
Jason Derulo.
It's
was long.
buffering now.
It was long, bro.
But that's the thing, yeah. Like everything became too accessible, and life became so much easier. Like, like you know, like in comparison to how it was back in the days. You look back, you look at it now, and everything is like a walk in the park.
Yeah.
Internet connection, technology is just speeding through the roof, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So
It's gonna get more crazy.
as
Instant
everything
gratifica-
becomes so much easier,
yeah.
it makes the human being more slower and
Impatient.
less, and also less likely to use their mind to do things and to do tasks.
Especially with AI coming out.
Exactly. And that's
Honestly,
what's
I'll be
happening.
honest, I was skeptical about AI,
Yeah.
but I've used it a few times to be fair.
It's nuts.
I
Yeah.
think it's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
It's crazy.
Bro, listen, you know the thing with AI and everything, bro. It's like it's a wave that's coming whether you like it or not. You know, so either you can ride the wave or get left behind. You know, at the start it was all like my information sensitivity. You know what I mean? Protection. Blah, blah, blah. But yeah, 100% be cautious and wary. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it's like I reckon it's very important to learn it, man.
100%,
To
you need to learn it.
because you're gonna get left behind. That's what the future's looking like. You know, you can see how rapidly it changed. You know, we're talking about LimeWire days to now, bro. Everything is just right there. You know what I mean? But bro, do you guys feel like distraction's always been a thing? Like regardless, because like now there is distraction. But I feel like there's a different form of distraction.
It's different form, yeah.
You know
And
what
it's
I mean?
much more, and it's on a higher scale as well. Because having like, again, information, yeah? It's information overload now.
100%.
There's so much information. You don't know like what to like you just open, you drive outside, yeah? You look at these billboards, information on the billboards. You know, you open your phone. You get the news app, something happened. YouTube opens up. There's information there. Like there's so many avenues to find information. It's just overwhelming. So like sometimes I find myself, if I want to go on Safari, for example, on my phone and search for something, I'll end up 5-10 minutes later, I realize I'm doing something else completely different.
Yeah.
Because I just got like this link, you know, on Google that suggested questions. You write something and then something else pops up and you click that link and then
You're
that link
interested
takes you
in
to
that.
something else, opens a new tab.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm thinking, what am I doing here, bro? I'm on a
Yeah.
weird side, you know?
Yeah.
YouTube, same thing. Like it's so easy to be distracted these days, bro. And I think like, I think everyone has to have that, I don't know, like, what's it called? Detox? Social detox?
Yeah,
or
does
whatever
anyone
it's
do
called.
that anymore, man? I reckon we used to.
Just to
I
drop
remember
your
back when
phone.
we used
I'll
to
do
jump on
that.
it, bro. I haven't done it in a while.
I'll do
bro.
that. I have no social media right now, and I'm loving that.
Nah, to actually like to leave your phone, just go back to a Nokia
Yeah,
for like a
I
month.
saw there was like this new movement where they were going back to brick phones.
Nokia's there.
Or there's this new I saw like this new device that you connect to your phone, and it locks you from using your phone
But you have
for
access
certain
to it.
hours. Yeah,
have
but you can
access
turn it off and on
Yeah, yeah.
anytime you want.
We're junkies, bro. Like, you start
We,
itching.
yeah,
and
we
you
are
turn-
addicts.
turn
I
it
think
off.
it's the biggest drug, isn't it?
Yeah,
Because the dopamine's nuts. That's why.
yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro.
Yeah.
It
That's
goes
why, yeah.
off.
It's dopamine at your fingertips. Literally, whenever you want to hit, you just go boom.
Yeah.
You just move your
But
fingers
it
around.
goes
a
off,
bit.
like, yeah. You gotta be honest.
But it's dangerous, bro, because when you think about it,
It's the time that
when you're trying to plan for long-term things, like
Mm.
when you're trying to make long-term goals and whatnot, you're not gonna get there, bro, because you're thinking short-term. You're thinking, I'm gonna achieve that in 2 months. You know, everything on social media open up and this guy's aerating, yeah, man, get what you want, get it now. Don't settle for less. Nah, it doesn't work like that, bro. Like,
Yeah,
you
it's
work hard for what you want, but nothing's gonna happen overnight unless you're lucky.
Didn't take a
Even
day.
then, you
It
fall
didn't
off.
take a day to build Rome.
Exactly. You know. So I think the dopamine situation, everyone like everything's so short, like it's not. I don't know.
Everybody wants things now.
Yeah.
And
It's instant
and
gratification.
it's like and it's kind of like an effect from having everything at your fingertips
Exactly.
now,
Yeah.
and it applies to everything else in life.
Do you reckon it's messed up our patience?
100%.
100%.
Me personally, yes.
It
I'll
has,
be
yeah.
honest. I'll be honest. Yeah.
I think that it has a psychological effect that it actually makes you impulsive.
100%. Yeah.
You know?
And I'm very impulsive naturally, so for me, it's dangerous. You know.
Yeah.
So me, when I catch myself like sitting down scrolling for too long,
Not only that, I actually reckon that, like, the young kids that are using it, which is like, same thing with the kids, yeah? They've got access to any of their favorite shows or any of their little things that they like to watch on their iPads, yeah? I think that it will actually, them spending heaps of time on it, it will contribute to a lot of kids having like issues.
Mental
Because
health.
at the developmental stage
They're
of
not
their
supposed
life,
to be
100%.
releasing that much dopamine.
It's like giving a kid lollies all the time.
Yeah.
You know, it's not healthy. And it's the same thing. That's doing the same thing to their brain when they have like access 24/7 to the iPads and stuff like that. You know.
But at the same time, I feel like kids in general, they mimic what's around. You know what I mean? So
Exactly. Yeah.
if you deny them or deprive them of using, say, you know, the iPad or whatever it is, but you're on it constantly as well, I feel like it's something that, bro, they're gonna hold against you. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, restriction is very important. I feel like regardless of whether you're a youngster, whether you know you're old, whatever it is, I feel like everything you do in life generally, man, like even anything that you do in life, I feel like you need a
Role
balance.
model, yeah,
You know,
yeah,
it's got to be in moderation. You know.
That's Joey's quote.
Yeah.
It's been my bio on IG
Has
since
it?
I made IG.
No way.
Back in
What's your bio?
2012. Everything moderation.
Yeah.
That's something I try to live by, you know?
Yeah.
Whatever you're doing in life,
Moderation, bro.
you just make sure you have something to counteract
That
that.
balance.
Yeah, yeah.
Nah,
have
100%.
to. Have to. Otherwise you get lost in the sauce. Yeah.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. I reckon since we've been talking about Sadaqah Jariyah, you know, and you know, sending or putting out, you know what I mean, good content that people can listen. I reckon Tapped In requires you to recite a few verses of the Qur'an. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sweet. I'll do that, but I've got to hear both of you guys as well.
You can't put us on the
Something
hot
shit.
spot.
No,
You can't.
you
Yeah,
can't.
you-
It doesn't
you
work.
can't. Yeah, it doesn't work.
I'm already in the hot
work
spot. I'm
that
sitting by
way.
myself. Yeah, I feel a bit skin right now.
You can't.
No,
do
it
that.
doesn't
Come
work
on.
that way.
Yeah,
Listen,
man.
hey, we're
I'll
not
go
as
first.
gifted.
I'll go first. Nah, I know you, Abdullah. You gotta
No,
go
no,
as
no,
well.
listen,
Nah,
hey,
you gotta
we're
go.
not-
Oh,
we're
used to, yeah,
gifted.
but I mean,
No,
nah,
no, we're
man.
not as
I'm
gifted,
saving
man.
mine for a rainy day.
Abdullah, you gonna read it?
No, man. Hey, I don't know who Abdullah is, bro, so I don't know. I'm not reading it, man. We'll get Abdullah to read it.
Alright. Just anything or
Whatever, yeah, like whatever you feel
Whatever
like
your heart
is
desires.
right for Tapped In right now, live. The flesh. Bismillah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم إن الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات كانت لهم جنات الفردوس نزلا خالدين فيها لا يبغون عنها حولا قل لو كان البحر مدادا لكلمات ربي لنفد البحر قبل أن تنفد كلمات ربي ولو جئنا بمثله مددا قل إنما أنا بشر مثلكم يوحى إلي أنما إلهكم إله واحد فمن كان يرجو لقاء ربه فليعمل عملا صالحا ولا يشرك بعبادة ربه أحدا صدق الله العظيم
صدق الله العظيم.
Allah Alim. MashaAllah.
Beautiful, man.
After you.
That's a beautiful.
Ayub, take it away,
verses.
mate.
No,
Take
that was
it away.
beautiful verses. Surah
It's
Al-Kahf.
hard
I'm
to
not
go
gonna lie
after
to you,
that. It's
I
hard to go
can't.
after
I'm not
that.
doing it.
Yeah.
Inshallah, next time. But I cannot go after that beautiful recitation, bro.
Anything wallah.
Hey, you know the meaning of what you just recited?
Yeah, the end of Surah Al-Kahf, yeah.
Yeah, I only understand the قل لو كان البحر مدادا لكلمات ربي.
It's actually relevant as well.
Very heavy.
It's actually
heavy,
relevant
heavy
as well.
verses, man.
Yeah.
Do you
For
want to talk a
those,
little bit
yeah,
about
for
that?
those who don't understand what it means, what's the
You
meaning?
translate.
Hey, now you know what? I'm gonna leave this to you, man. I'm gonna have to
You
leave
gotta
this
help
to
me
you.
out, bro.
Huh?
Basically, قل لو كان البحر مدادا لكلمات ربي. Say, O Prophet, if the words قُلْ لَوْ كَانَ الْبَحْرُ, if the ocean was ink for the words of my Lord, لَنَفِدَ الْبَحْرُ قَبْلَ أَن تَنْفَدَ كَلِمَاتُ رَبِّي, then the ocean would dry up before the words of Allah would come out. So like you think about the oceans, and with the 7 oceans, I think, in the world, 7 oceans. Like if that was ink for the words of Allah, it still wouldn't be enough, Even if it was going to be replaced, there still wouldn't be enough ink,
How beautiful. Man.
So there's knowledge, knowledge, like the knowledge that Allah has. Yeah, it's crazy.
Nah, Jazakallah khairan, man. Thank you so much for sharing those beautiful verses, man. Hey, you guys all heard it here, a little bit of a snippet of his beautiful recitation, and you guys know what to do, man. Kalamullah 1. It's Kalamullah 1 on Instagram, Kalamullah 1. Make sure you guys, give it a sus, give it a follow, give it a listen. It's beautiful, man. And we'll put all his details inside the description as well. What are you waiting for, man?
Appreciate it, man.
Hey.
Your new favorite reciter, right here, live in the flesh on Tapped In.
Yes, sir.
Love, appreciate it, boys. Allah.
Any last words, Joe Star, you want to say?
Any last words, man? Well, firstly, shout out to the boys here, man.
Appreciate you,
Doing
man.
a good thing, bro.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah, like Sino said, it's been a long time in the making. I'm happy to be up here. If I was going to give one word of advice, it would be to myself first and foremost. Don't abandon the Qur'an, bro, because there's a story about there was a man who came. He didn't know how to read Qur'an, and he came to another man in a mosque. This is after the Prophet ﷺ, and he sat in the mosque, and he used to go to the mosque regularly. And because he couldn't read, he used to ask people to recite for him so he can just sit down and listen to them. Anyways, this man came in the mosque one day, young man, and he saw a man reciting, and he said, "Can you recite for me just so I can listen, please?" The man started reciting, and eventually he came across a verse where you have to do the sajda, the sujood. So they both got up and did sujood. So when the person reciting, he got back up, the man that was listening didn't get back up. He ended up dying in that position, And Allah decided to take his soul over an act, even though he couldn't read the Qur'an. Allah still accepted from him, and waited for him to reach that point where his head was on the floor to take his soul, So like you can only imagine, like the Qur'an, it's either going to be a witness for us or against us in the day of judgment and in the grave as well. And it doesn't take much, like we discussed, like social media. You have Tartil app. I'm not sponsored, by the way, not yet. There's ways, there's avenues of like listening to the Qur'an, recitations, understanding the Qur'an. Everything is accessible, so don't lack, wallahi, because one day you're gonna regret it. All of us are gonna regret it, So
100%.
Pick the Qur'an up. That's my advice.
Heavy, man. Hey, that's very important, man. Well, I really appreciate you sharing those sound advice. It's something that I think we can all implement and take on and learn.
100%.
Bro, I appreciate you, man.
Thank you, boys.
Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me. Always a
Bro, it's been
pleasure.
Always a pleasure, never a chore. Hey, Tapped In is tapping out.
Done.
Peace.